Well, I think that would be
Wonderful. So you're downstairs. Good evening, everyone. We're going to call the meeting to order. Hello.
I think we're
And
gonna.
I feel like I'm talking about it because my ears are still closed, but I probably.
We're gonna call the meeting. All right, Alicia.
Oh, President.
Lucy. Uzziah.
Here.
Jackie. Here. Kate, let me make sure you're not here. Sandy. Here. Dee. Here. Justin, let me know you will not be here. And Dana. Here. Did I miss anybody?
I'm fresh on vacation. So I'm working it out. Okay. So approval of the April minutes. We all review the April minutes.
So moved. Second.
Yes, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Approval of the minutes, we have to write them next time. Okay. Approval of the minutes.
I didn't know I was gonna be a guest speaker, I just thought I was coming with Justin.
Well, if you wouldn't mind just introducing yourself and sharing maybe a little about what you've gone through the role
Okay.
and what you'll be working on.
Okay, I'm Chrissy McCullough, and I just came on as the police social worker in March. March the 1st was my first day. I kind of have a history. I was a 911 dispatcher for like 12 years, several years ago, so I always kind of had that interest in that side of things. But I worked in recovery, I worked in domestic violence for quite a while, sexual assault, just a lot of different things, helping try to reunify families and so forth. And when I found out this position was up, I went right for it. So I'm a licensed social worker. I'm getting ready to take my exam for my LCSW. Yeah, so I'm excited about that. And I think I remember doing an internship when Dee was starting up Next Step, and I was like human service. I was like, I think associate level at that time. But anyway, yeah. So is that good? Or you got any questions about? We do a lot of things so far. We support officers for mental health and stress, which is one initial reason I think they started it up was for their mental health, so they could be better police officers to the community, or at least have that approach. But it's kind of growing, obviously, with the homeless, and a lot of different things have been going on since I started. So
So I heard that Jerome's leaving.
who? Jared left in like February, I guess. Yeah.
He left in
He left before I even started. Yeah.
So were you his replacement?
Yes.
Are they gonna add another one?
Well, we have Chris Carrera, who's a retired police officer who helps with the case management. And now he's always been one of those officers that were really interested in, not that officers aren't interested in it, but he had the kind of like the heart. Yeah, it was just, he was a little bit more, he could spend more time with people on calls, and, he's getting called to go to the next call, and he's like still trying to be that kind of officer for whoever, the public or whatever. So I think like he was very interested in assisting Jaron, and they came on, I think, about a year ago. And so he's still there. He's now helping me. So he's just doing a little bit of like, he does like a lot of the phone calls for follow-up. We do a lot of ED follow-ups, try to make sure they have appropriate resources. I know like we just hooked a couple homeless people up. Like I'm going out and building rapport, because Jared had a very high rapport with a lot of people. So I'm trying, and some of them are shunning.
You weren't able to
one
with him.
Huh?
You weren't able to team with him.
No, it's unfortunate, and he did, he has come around a couple times to like kind of talk to me about some things, and he was gonna do my supervision, and I feel like he had some other stuff that he had going on, so I ended up using Jennifer Todd to get my last 3 months in before I get my license. But he's there if I ever have a question, which is awesome. And so yeah,
What's he doing?
I really don't know. I don't think anybody knows. I think he had somebody he needed to take care of in his family, that was part of it. So, but, so I'm just been getting my feet wet since I started, so, I'm trying to get out there a little bit. I think they just put it in the newspaper that there was a new social worker, so.
I don't know how relevant this is, but, just so you know, so they're now bulldozing between Ohio and Edgewood Road, that whole, trees.
Yes.
We're not very happy about,
Okay.
but then apparently there were a lot of homeless people who had created camps in that enclosed area. And they're all being displaced now, so
Yeah.
you may,
I think when it first started, that was happening, on Blakely Avenue, and there was so we looked at her house.
Park over between like the marine.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you noticed those trees came down over there.
Yeah.
I believe that property was sold by Union Hospital to,
Right.
Culligan, like the water, so I think they must be getting ready to build.
Yeah, that's what I believe so too.
On fruit, right, but then now there's some tree work, yeah.
Okay, I have to check that, because we do go around looking for people to offer them.
you know, there's people that have been living there for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
That
Yeah.
is,
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
So that's cool. We're trying to help get some of them out at least.
Yeah.
You know, and we put a couple in, the only availability, like Lotus Center just happened to have an opening for the lady that was in the woods, and they were taking those trees down as well, so we got her in, and, so, yeah, it's gonna be a learning curve throughout the process. Thanks for letting me
Of course.
introduce myself.
Yeah. We have lots of social work presence on this commission. Lakeisha is a social worker, Dana, Sam,
Yes, they was
and then Katie Luber, who's an advisor member also,
Okay.
is a social worker. So, we love you, right? But yeah, thank you so much, and you're welcome to stick
Okay.
around for the rest of this meeting. Director's report? Can I request that we move, or we jump to new business Juneteenth/Terre Haute Day? But we have another guest, Linda, who I'd love for her to introduce herself as well. And maybe we can speak a little bit about that program as well. You're welcome to introduce yourself.
I am Belinda Barnes. I kind of go into different organizations or try to help out different people that's trying to accomplish something. And at this time, we have found out that the Juneteenth was not going to happen this year at the High Center. So a few of us got together and talked with the Pioneer Post 340, it's on 53rd Street, and asked them, since they have several lots and things like that, if they would allow us to put some activities out there for the children. So at this point, the commander was very Turner, he agreed. He was like, well, I don't know, how you gonna do this? I said, well, we're gonna work it out. Something's gonna happen. So anyway, like I said, a few of us got together with Barry Turner, commander. And so far, we've come up with, we got a bouncy house, water slide, phone machine, we're getting games, we're hoping to get food. Hot dogs, so far we're just saying hot dogs, hamburgers, chips, pop, punch, things like that the children like. If we get a little bit more help, we'll try to go a little bit further than that. But so far, that's what we've come up with. And we also have plans to, we've got several people willing to do games, and we're trying to go back to the old types, the young ones got all these new games. So we're trying to get them interested in the games that used to be, like musical chairs, duck goose, red light, red light, we're trying to, we figured they'll probably get some kind of interest out of it instead of, sitting around looking at the tablets. But like I said, we're just trying to come up with some kind of way to do a community activity for the children so that they can see that, you know, there's a lot out there to do. You don't have to just stay in the house and be on the tablets and just enjoy. So we're just trying to get some type of help, because we're paying for everything. So everything's coming out of our pockets. We've got, so far there's, I think 10 of us that's gonna buy bicycles from 10 years old and under. And we're all buying the bikes. Each one of us that we're getting the bikes. So we're doing that just for an addition. And that's gonna be raffled off. And then we're hoping to have baskets. Because, you know, some of the kids, you know, food-wise, and their parents food-wise, so we're hoping to make so many baskets so that they can have that raffle also. So ones can get baskets to help them at home to eat. I'm trying to, we were discussing, we're having meetings every Friday, so I'm kind of rushing, sort of, trying to get some type of help. But like I said, we're trying to just throw that out there, just so the kids can have something to do. We plan this to be on June the 13th. We can't do it on the 19th because they have the Pioneer Postal Store. They have a wedding on Friday, a birthday on Saturday, and then Father's Day is the 19th. I didn't realize that till that meeting. I'm like, no, we're not doing it on the 19th. So we're gonna have it on the 13th, Saturday before. And then we're gonna start it at 12 o'clock. And we're going until sunset. And then we have a fireworks display when that's over. So we're ending it with a grand finale, with fireworks, et cetera. So, like I said, we're trying to really,
Bless you.
we're trying to really get this out there, really, you know, push the kids to realize you can have fun and get together and enjoy each other's company regardless of any type of race or, you know, anything. You all are one in God. So let's put this out there and get kids to enjoy themselves. That's all we're trying to do. Just trying to make it something that I call it unforgettable. An unforgettable day.
If you, paper in your packet, it has some of those details that says, the start time. But I think you all were really looking for, donations or sponsorships or something.
Either donations or sponsorship or just some type of help. And like I said, we want everything to be free. We don't want no vendors out there where they're trying to sell things. Everything's going to be free. That's why I said majority of us are coming out of our pockets, you know, to try to get this going. So we're just asking for a little help, just so that we can make it bigger than what we trying to do it alone can.
So what's a little help? What are you looking for? How much?
Oh, as far as that goes, I don't know.
Well, we got to figure that out.
That part I really don't know.
Is it something that you're looking to like purchase, whether it's like a food or that you don't have the funds for?
Or is there a food truck?
Is there something in your budget that we can cover? Like, hey, we need so much money for food, or we need so much money for the bicycle, whatever. Is there something we can help you with?
Don't do that.
How many bicycles have you
Since we're doing 10 and under, we're trying to do 10.
paying bicycles?
10 bicycles, and we're going from whatever age to,
That's the most expensive one. And how much for each one are you planning?
we're thinking majority of the bikes are ranging between 50 and 75.
Have you contacted like Walmart or any of these places?
They're all asking us, like 30-day notice and things like that. Like I said, we kind of, like I said, this just happened. Because we just realized a couple weeks ago that they weren't happening.
So someplace that's not like a court, you know, that, I don't know, is there a bike shop in
There's some things going on.
There's
Yeah.
and then there's the other one.
Yeah, it's any business, you know, like a Walmart,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a process.
But Kiwanis or Rotary, you contacted them?
No, we haven't. Like I said, I kind of just jumped on this on my own because I'm really not a procrastinator. I'm like, okay, this, you know, so I just got out there and I started talking with different people. They were naming different ones. Also, the first person's name that came up with me. So, like I said, I'm not a procrastinator, so as soon as I heard her name, I hung up from the person that I got her name from, and I called her. She wasn't under 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So I was telling her, I don't procrastinate. I'm like, hey, you know.
How many kids do you come?
That's hard.
There will be a lot of kids.
There will be a lot.
On that side of town.
And 13 is around the corner.
Yes.
It's right.
Yeah, I know, that's why I said, in a lot of places, are like, give us 30-day notice. I even got one that told me 60 days. I'm like, well, 60 days is like, you know, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So we're kind of like, that's why I said the majority of it will probably come from our pockets.
So you got people that are wanting to buy the bikes, do you have the food covered? Is the food taken care of, or do you need money?
We all said we were going, like, go get some this time this week, and then the following week we go to that. So every week, different ones are coming up saying, well, we're going to buy this, and we're going to buy this. And I said Friday, we already determined who's getting what. So now when we'll meet Friday, we'll say,
What's the budget? How much can you spend?
Are you saying individuals are gonna buy?
Yes.
Yeah. Not the organization.
not the organization.
You know, what would you get, since each individual saying, I'm gonna go get 100 a month, I'm gonna go get the hamburgers,
Me,
what's the
sir?
number? Yeah.
I can talk for myself.
Yeah.
I can't really talk for anyone else, but I already know I always go high. So I consider saying the bike's gonna be 100, and food is so high, so I know hot dogs is probably gonna be 100. So me personally, I'm gonna spend probably about 500 sneakily for my husband. For my husband doesn't know this. Okay, but that's just me.
Yeah.
I can't speak for anyone else, I just know that's my.
How many are on
preference.
your committee? Or-
We're hoping we're gonna get more coming on Friday, but right now we had 2.
Well, let's look at this. How many people were there last time? On average.
Oh, geez. That was at Heights
It was
Center.
at Heights Center, this
Now it was like,
Like,
it was more than 200.
Definitely more.
Yeah.
I think the food, just thinking about the side of town that the post is on, and how many kids come when they do have events for children. You're gonna get that side of town plus the other side of town. Will come over there because you're trying to make it free. The food and the food basket raffle off, I think will be the highest expense. If they're starting at noon to night, you know, they're gonna be, yeah, you may be serving for several hours. So the food will be the most expensive. Beverages, you know, paper plates, cups, you know, whatever, forks, you know, condiments and things like that. I think the food will be.
We're doing
Are you gonna do the
of course, we're talking most of the time.
Yeah.
Sam's, we already know that's going to be our best bet as far as
Yeah.
purchasing foods and things like that.
Are you gonna go and do the grilling? You said it says hot dogs, hamburgers, you're gonna grill.
We have someone that's already doing the grilling for us. So we're just getting the individual bags that Sam's had.
Yeah.
And then we've learned all the things we've done, that the big bottle of water and pop and all that is not gonna work, so we're getting all the small cans,
Oh, yeah,
water and the pop.
Okay, I have another question. I probably misunderstood. So you have all this plan, you have all these events from noon to midnight. You have all fireworks and all that.
Well,
In the plan, now, how much money do you already have for this, for all this?
We
How
have
many people have already?
to be honest with you, I have no idea. Because we're meeting again on Friday,
Yes.
so it's really an individual
Yeah, so
priority.
it's hard for us to estimate how much help we need when we don't have any information. So it's,
Right.
you know,
I understand that, yes.
so,
So anything we can give would be helpful.
yeah.
That's basically what you're saying.
Basically,
Yeah,
anything
if we can come up with something, then you would be
Yeah.
more than happy to get it.
Right.
Okay,
If I,
yes.
yeah, if I can, just share quickly, so I reached out to Courtney, like, Chipple and, Theo Morgan, who did the Terre Haute Day a couple weeks ago, and was like, oh, I gotta get you guys on our agenda, like, and Terre Haute Day, that's gotta be coming up, and we sponsored that event before, because it's a community celebration, and they had told me, and so I was like, oh, that's such a bummer, so I put it on our agenda, and I was expecting to come to you all today to say, like, here's some not so great news. And then last night, Belinda called me and said that they've had recently learned of this news as well. And so, one thing I had asked was I don't think if the Legion, if I would pay the Legion directly, or, the other thing that if we did want to pursue some sort of help, like if it's the food, for example, I mean, I can go to Santa's Club and use our city credit card and buy 1,000 hot dogs or whatever we decide. And then we will get that to you however works, but, we just can't give dollars to individuals. Yeah, that we just aren't able to do
And
that.
I did ask, Commander Barry Turner about, being a nonprofit, and he said yes. And I left it on my phone.
Okay, perfect.
So just in case, because I always leave things for documentation, and I left it on my phone, I can show you, he did say they're a nonprofit.
I think that the most important thing is food. We have food there for you guys. That's, you know, the events you can, you know, come out with the games and all that. And the most important is the what they are going to eat.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
you go sunset, you're gonna go through a lot of.
That's right.
In the best way, like, I love that.
Right.
Or you like it.
Yeah.
One of the things that we can continue this discussion, and we can go back to our agenda and come back to this and talk about it, because there actually is another opportunity sort of related to this that came from Courtney. They're not doing they're not doing the Juneteenth celebration, but they are doing another event for youth, and kind of people that consider sponsoring that as well.
Is that the?
Yeah, and I know that we haven't gone through the financial report yet, so I don't know if you all want to, whatever you all decide.
Yeah, I think if we table it when we get to the financial thing, and then we'll get back to you. Like,
Yeah.
Unfortunately, somewhere.
Yeah,
Yes, let's figure out the balance.
yeah,
I appreciate it.
Yeah. of course,
Like I
yeah.
said, there is no.
We appreciate you.
Yes, yes,
Right,
it's on,
it's on there.
yes.
He's easy to find.
So what I'll just need to get is if we go through the, like, if we just get the money to the Legion, then we just get it done.
That makes me feel better to get it.
Okay.
I'm the same way.
How am I?
Yeah.
And I feel a little hard. Anyway, well, we really appreciate you coming.
Thank you. Thank you so much for what you do. Thank
Yeah,
you.
it's really,
Very generous.
Yeah. That's, I was sad that there wasn't two pieces, so that's really awesome. We love stuff that-
I just wish we kind of knew it a little sooner than what we
Yeah.
We did, and it happened this way for a reason.
Well, you stepped up.
Yes.
That's what it takes.
I like being in the background. Believe me, I was steady texting Mary every time something goes on. Okay, I heard this, so I'm keeping him very much informed.
Great.
I appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
and I go back, but you're,
Well, yeah. We've got something going on, I was trying to send the city, so, but thank you again. And I appreciate my time.
Oh, thank
I
you.
feel like my time was very well worth coming.
I'm so glad you were able to make it.
Yeah.
It was nice to meet you.
I felt like, yeah, as I said, I felt like I needed to at least meet you.
Yes, okay.
I didn't even talk to my husband very long. I feel sorry, and I said, babe, I gotta leave, gotta go.
You gotta go.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much,
everyone. Thank you for the
Thank you.
Nice meeting you all.
Let me go back to the director's report.
Okay.
It's been a little bit of a busy month. We had some really neat meetings, went to some cool events. The History Center had the AIDS Memorial Quilt at the History Center, and Ricky, who was on the board of the Pride Center, had invited me to attend the unveil or the dedication ceremony, and that was a really neat thing to go to. Shout out to Katie, of course, she helped with that as well. Another thing I would make sure I mention was we met with Jesse Tohill and I have really been working on the Warming Center initiatives this past year, and we met with the Community Foundation. We had reached out to them last year when we were trying to figure all of this out. And we were like, do you have money? That was kind of where the conversation started. And they had mentioned to us that the Tribune Star has a fund, and that's like a Thanksgiving basket,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
basket fund that
Yeah.
people from the community can donate to. And I was like, well, we have so many people who have been interested in like financially supporting warming centers. And so what this fund will be is it's not, we still want people to give to all of our, individual shelter, the Locust Center, Pathways, to continue to donate there. But, the city has agreed to be a financial supporter of this. And we're kind of calling this like a little bit of an emergency fund. So, if the winter is, colder than we budget for, this could be a place we can kind of tap into and, take advantage of that generosity from the community. So we've signed the paperwork. The city is have this fund that people can donate to. We haven't really put out a bunch of press about it yet. I think that we're kind of letting us get through that season, get through the season, and then maybe once it starts to get a little bit closer to planning for next year, we'll really announce this to the public.
It'll be a pass through
Essentially,
community
yeah.
foundation. Yeah, that's good.
And so when we need to if we needed to pay to activate it, actually, like it's a harsher winter, or we need to activate additional locations, they will, I think we can submit a request for those funds to be released to us, and then we can pay the operators. But I would make sure I mention that. And then I met with Carly Schmidt from the League of Women Voters, but I added that to the agenda because it's something I think we need to have a bigger conversation about. Like GOTV is get out of the vote, and they're interested on our perspective as the human relations. Met with some folks from the city of Indianapolis who are leading their homelessness task force to learn about what they're doing. And I together, kind of based off that conversation and some other conversations I've had with folks from Bloomington, and as well, I've given an official memo to the mayor about this is what we probably should do in terms of a task force. And so that's in his hands now. We had a meeting with the NAACP Health Committee. They were looking for information so that they could be health advocates in the community. The mayor was also there. I made a few connections, but that certainly is not one of my my areas of expertise. So, I did what I Lotus Center Advisory Board, the book club, Home America Homes Coalition. The Arts of the Wabash Valley partnered with the Rose Coleman Institute of Technology, and they were working on a year-long project to create an interactive, accessible transit map for somebody who is visually impaired. And so that map we got delivered to us, and I'm sure that it was quite the project that the students worked on. It's in my office, so if we want to take a field trip at the end to see this new map. There are some features that they weren't quite able to create, so it's kind of, I think, a prototype. I don't know if it's totally ready to be in use. Yesterday, it was actually a long time ago, the Rotary Club had asked me to come talk and share about the Human Relations Commission. So yesterday I spoke to the new Rotary group, the one that meets in the History Center, and they really enjoyed it. You all were on the presentation, and sorry, I didn't run that past you, but I shared pictures of all the events that we do. I talked about History Month, I talked about MLK, I talked about some of our homelessness initiatives and free transit, and I talked about how just that we really tried to bring life back into this commission, and yeah. Anyway, there's also a project that the city is kind of been targeted for, this Indiana Energy Saver Program, but I had to meet with some representatives from that group today to help. I can identify part of town that they can do some like door-to-door outreach to see, get folks signed up for this Energy Saver Program, which essentially they come and do work on your house, and it really doesn't cost, if you're eligible, like financially, it does not cost the individual anything. It's totally this grant, funded program, but they want to find kind of an area of town where folks would be eligible for this, but probably own their home for the sake of the ease of, if you own your home, that you are going to be the one that can approve the work done on it. So we have a couple summer interns in the mayor's office, and so we've moved one of them, and he's going to help with that as well. But if you want to learn more about the program, I found it was very interesting. I never heard of it. If you just Google Indiana Energy Saver Program, you all can apply. I mean, I don't know if everyone is eligible, but it is certainly an interesting program that we're trying to get the word out here. We did have one discrimination complaint come through the office, and it was over email. And I have emailed them back, but they have not gotten back with me. So done one follow up, and hopefully we can help get them connected to the right resources. But that was an education related. No action has been taken yet. I've got a report from History Month. I talked about women voters, the bus shelters, the Board of Works approved the quote that we got. We ended up getting 2 quotes. We put out for multiple are complete, and it's they approved the purchase. So that's been by our legal department. We're signing that and sending it back to them to get those 5 bus shelters in place. So
Did we determine that they would be heated
they are not going to be heated.
or not?
No, unfortunately, they will not be. Maybe down the road.
Well, that would be good.
Yeah. Yeah. It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the airport on this, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are, yeah. book club, we kind of had enough big turnout last time. I don't know if it was because of the date change or people are losing interest, but you know, we only got one left, so we're gonna have one more and does it, she does all the work, so it's really not a huge lift on her. I've always said that, but I think she might be moving away, and so if she's not, if, you know, her daughter lives in Alabama and she's has some health things that she wants to be closer to family, and if she doesn't do it, we'll have to kind of decide if we want to keep doing it as well. I've enjoyed reading the book, but I know it is late season. It's like a very thin book. The banners that Katie talked about last time. I spoke with her a little bit more, and I also spoke with Mayor Brandon. We had a conversation about, you know, we do one group, we kind of do everything, and what are we opening up when we start to meet? And so we think it would be best, and maybe this is something we have student consultants help us with, is how do we maybe make a thorough plan for, these are the 6 heritage months that we're gonna focus on, and how are we gonna celebrate them? Is that banners, and we have to make sure those banners are designed by people from those communities, and that is involved. And how do we also, when X group comes to us, that we're not being exclusionary, and we just want to make, you know, there's a lot of
Details.
well, there's also a lot of public commentary on, you know, things that are once were called inclusion are now being called racist and, you know, exclusionary, and so we do have to, unfortunately, have to be mindful of that, and so we just want to make sure we're not doing this without a real thoughtful plan behind it. If that makes sense. I'm open to your feedback on that, but again, yeah.
The student groups, because they're ready for you.
Oh,
Whatever, to the master students and the doc students. I think for this particular one, they maybe created a community survey to get that feedback, you know, putting that out. You know, via social media, multiple avenues where people can take the survey to have that feedback also included, along with talking to, you know, people from various groups that could be celebrated.
yeah. I think, I mean, I was like, oh, yeah, it looks good, but, you know, sometimes we have a conversation about it. I will be out of office on June 5th, that's a Friday. I'll also be out of office on June 18th. And the office is closed on June 19th. I traveled with my mom and dad for Father's Day that weekend. We're going to visit my brother, so I'll be on Sunday. But the financial report, I thought this might be helpful. Our conversation about sponsorships. So, and as always, I kind of, here's what we spent, here's what we kind of proposed to allocate. So, you know, we did a $3,000 sponsorship in the past for the Terre Haute Day week of events. And so just a kind of reminder, Terre Haute Day wasn't just that one day. They had, they had Young Black and Empowered, they had the art event on Wednesday night, and they had sponsored dinner. I think we ended up going to, they had a pitch event for businesses to pitch there. So we did a really big sponsorship, and it sponsored a full week's worth of events. And so just like, unfortunately, yeah, that is mostly all not happening this year. But anyway.
What is the reason?
I heard it is
Is
right.
the
Tried to synthesize what she said. They said that they would not be moving forward because they have worked to identify a new fiduciary nonprofit partner that is not federally funded. So I think that maybe they ran into some trouble with chances and services for youth, maybe being a little hesitant because of their federal funding a juvenile. I mean, yeah. I'm taking a leap there.
Well, if you're looking for someone who's not gonna fund it, that's what we should take.
For an inference, based on
I
the,
don't think it's a big leap.
That is a good one.
it's an inference, I'm inferring.
Yeah.
Because they didn't use the facility, it was the parking.
No, but they were their fiduciary agents, so
Oh, that's
we
what the-
sponsored them, we paid
Collected all the money.
chances and
Right, right, right.
services for youth, and then they paid for them.
That is what it is. We have a federal grant, and they come out and tell you, like, you know, we're not allowed, do not mention harm reduction. You know, do not mention harm, because otherwise you lose federal funding, because that's now a no-no. You know, don't talk about diversity, don't. So then you literally will lose your money if you do anything that has to do with diversity, equity, inclusion, it's terrible. So that's exactly what,
Yeah.
so it's not an influence, so they're trying to find somebody that's only state funded,
Yeah,
but doesn't have those federal dollars hanging over their head.
it said that they intentionally chose to take
State is questionable too, you're right,
a year to
so they're not as bad, they're not blatantly saying.
a strong long-term partnership. But they are excited that they've now identified a new nonprofit partner.
There you go.
It was,
Good.
but they obviously didn't identify them early enough to where they could continue these events. They have indicated that they had initially believed other groups in the community were planning Juneteenth-related activities, but those plans didn't fully materialize until now. We've got a pioneer post. The organization will continue its Young Black and Empowered Leadership Day program, and there is a flyer I included. They did ask if we wanted to sponsor that, we could. I think we have to consider, you know, I think it's not a one for last year, so
Yeah.
just, I'm not trying to influence what we decide, but trying to try to clearly communicate that those are different things for our folks who maybe weren't here. Yeah.
So bottom line is we have $3,000 that was supposed to be spent, now it's back in the bucket for us to
Yes.
talk about.
Yeah, but I guess we're not really to that, we're still in the financial report. I included, this is a little bit, there's two of the casino line statements. Remember that's where our civic promotions money came from. So there's two lines, there's services contractual and then there's civic promotions, human relations, which that's ours. And then there's my transit funding for my bus shelters below that. If you go one, and then another one.
Third page.
I know. So they, I noticed that services contractual had 16,000 out of it, and I was like, that's not right, that's the money for the neighborhood investment grant. And so I emailed them and they did say that was error and they have corrected it, so I did include the previous one as well that shows 0, so it should be nothing out of that line, but I wanted for the transparency that that document is incorrect. I'll talk about the neighborhood investment, but there should be nothing out of that yet, because we haven't funded any projects. Anyway. We still have $12,248.42 left in civic promotions, which could be used for sponsorships. That's that. We've only spent $2,700. happy to answer any questions about the director's report.
I do have a question, and you may or may not be able to answer this, but on the flyer, the Midwest Power. Yeah.
Or if that's. It says it's $225 per student, and I thought we do want, we do not have to, like, have, but like, maybe we could say, oh, well, your students are one or two students, you know, that's something. But we don't, I mean, we don't have to do that. Whatever you want, yes.
There,
Yeah.
like, we volunteer, most of the girls, and TJ's next. TJ next, right next to us. Yeah, so we did that part with the girls. I would say that that's accurate because they fed them twice. They also got a budget for clothing. So they were able to get a casual outfit, business, professional, business attire. I think the guys were able to get haircuts. That, because Classic Man partnered with them too and got the young men suits. And some of the volunteers who were also college students also were able to get suits. So a lot of money is shelled out per person. And then the passenger, the 15 passenger vans to transport the kids to multiple locations. And then they have community people come in and try to give them professional development guidance.
This is the table has to stand right here, so it's hard to hear.
And I know I sound like I'm in my head, I feel like I'm talking about it, but I'm not.
You're not. Trust us, you're not.
We can turn that fan down.
I guess finding out, is this the only level of sponsorship?
That's my question.
Yeah. I'm in support of sponsoring the event. There probably were 30, maybe 40 kids who benefited last year when they did it, and it was a great event. There were also, side note to that, there were several kids who were homeschooled who participated in the event, which I thought was good. A lot of kids are now being homeschooled, so they don't have that socialization aspect, and so they were able to get that day and like connect with other kids, and some of the parents also connected with each other. So much comes out of the event that is a benefit to the community.
I am with you. I need to support some of these students. These individuals here, I can see their faces. So I have been my students, and I know them, and I know that they try really hard. They are good people. They are trying to, complete their degree. Some of them have to have extra time working to pay, for food, and some of them really need help. So, because I know them, I think it's a great plan. Yes, I really support them.
Many of these kids are in college right now.
I know. I have had them. I have some of them are freshmen in my class, and I know that they are in need. Yeah.
We first have to approve the director's report before we.
Okay, sure.
You're good, no, I just wanted to support you what you were saying.
It's really nice that they have the chance to get a suit.
They're really.
I first did it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Every second.
Okay. All in favor of director's report? So any of those, no. This court passes.
So I just wanna say, you know, when we did the original one, we had this remaining fund, strategic flexible fund, 5,700, that was in case something comes up. So not only could the 3,000 that we had proposed to spend for Terre Haute, we've also got $5,700 sitting there that said, oh, something might come up that we don't know about. You know, so we can split the 3,000 between the youth and parent, giving her some, or we could, if we want to give more, there's money there.
As we go into talking about sponsorships, it occurred to me in this conversation we were having before, about the banners. And sort of the corollary of that is if people are saying, well, maybe some other kind of event, you know, group should be on the banner. I'm wondering if we should be cognizant of, you know, when we choose that, we have so much to spend on sponsorships. I think that the same accusation could come, well, you always get to do it, but we have this, and so that we had some sort of an approach that we could point people to how we make that decision rather than, well, you know, it might feel like, well, we just like Juneteenth, or we just know people that this other organization, you know, the Pride Fest. That might a preemptive position. And I probably wouldn't have thought about it except you were saying, you know, people were saying, well, why are we not doing banners? I think there's similar. You know.
What would be the guidelines then?
For how we pick.
Yes, how we support it, like you were saying, what's going to you all on the table to see because of these reasons,
Yeah.
that's why.
I mean,
It's very complex, it's very complex.
But she said, you don't have much money to just, you know, support it, and there is more need somewhere else.
I don't have a solution, I know.
Right.
I don't know.
They're coming and asking, and so we have, just like she did today, and so we just have the discussion.
yeah,
I think that we don't know.
Yeah.
We only know if somebody asks.
Yes.
I think it's how, how it meets what the Human Relations Commission is all about, right? So what are the groups that are discriminated against? What are the groups that experience, you know, exclusion?
Yeah, I
You know, so anybody's eligible that fits that, or that fits into where they've been.
But at the same time, it's a good help giving them food, but it's best help allowing them more tools for their profession, for doing something more tangible, like having them, getting them a suit, for example, for an interview. That's more helpful than providing them a meal one day, right? You know?
But we can't know that unless they come to us.
Yeah.
Right?
But then, and I'm just playing out that, then maybe we should, say like in January, that Human Relations supports various organizations, and if you would like to apply for a sponsorship,
Here's the criteria.
Exactly, yeah.
I think two things. Number one, when you ask like, what are the requirements?
Yes.
That, you know, by law, you know, we cannot be discriminatory with our funding. Like, we cannot, you know, use it to, discriminate. The other thing is we cannot fund sort of religious, anything that is like, it has some sort of, it can be, technically, the programming itself can't require religious participation. It could maybe be hosted by a religious group, or there could be religious group involvement in the program itself, because I think that falls into like, discriminatory. But the other thing is, I think what we need, you know, maybe we haven't explicitly said it, but we're, you know, we try to find things that are mission aligned, and our mission, I put it up here, is to promote better human relations in Terre Haute, build a vibrant, thriving, and unified community, transforming injustice into equity, and accessibility into opportunity, and intolerance into acceptance and belonging. So thinking about those words of equity, opportunity, acceptance, and belonging, you we're trying to promote programs that promote those things, as a means of furthering our mission.
So for example, in September, it's National Recovery Month, and we do at Fairbanks Park, we do a blackout addiction run, where people can look for sponsors. It's about acceptance, belonging, there are a lot of people who don't have a lot of stigma about addiction. Right, so it would fit if they came to us and said, hey, you guys want to sponsor a blackout addiction run, we got 1,000, 2,000, we would consider that, because it's about, this is a stigmatized group, that is looking to be accepted. So we could put that as the criteria, right? If it aligns with our mission, we would consider it, and then getting out to let people know, because a lot of those organizations don't know, the color walk, for which the color walk that we do for suicide, or the mental health, or the, there's lots of organizations that are always looking for those kind of things, and we can just use that, saying if you align with what we're trying to
If
do.
you need align with the criteria, then we have too much funding.
Right.
Then we would have to have another level of criteria, because just about any not-for-profit could fit that.
Fit in.
mission. So then we would have to, then we would really have to drill
Go
down
out,
on another
yeah,
level
yeah.
of criteria, because that's very broad.
Yes, I agree, and I think the other thing is like the outcomes of an event, maybe we could think about that,
Or how do they, like Lucy was saying about the,
Yeah.
giving us soup, which is gonna last them all year versus the meal, right? Or we're doing a thing, so even what are they gonna use the funds for, we can evaluate, hey, we look at this is a better effect or a lasting effect. And that can come from a committee, we can say, okay, where do we wanna spend our money that we think is gonna go, we just pay for the buck.
yeah,
Uh,
I think, I get what you're saying about the soup versus the food, but I'm going beyond the food for that, because it's about the experience of the event.
Yeah.
Food is just an addition.
Yeah.
I know, and that aligns
Yeah.
with,
But what we have done and have been very conscious and strategic about is that when people do come, because we have a small budget of money to use for sponsorship, we have been very strategic on how much, so that we do have enough to spread to more than
Yeah,
a
more
few
than,
people.
right, that's why we got that 6 grand sitting there.
Yeah.
So
So
wait,
other stuff may come up.
yeah, we have to present, or I have to present our budget to the mayor on June 22nd, and we have a meeting on June 17th. And so I kind of shared with you at the last one, I think you all got like every single line, I guess I could go back, because now I'm here, just to show
yeah,
us.
I think so.
And I, wanted, I don't know, but that's okay. Oh, yeah, no, here it is. This thing. That showed a breakdown of, civic promotions and how each thing, and so maybe we think about it also maybe as percentages, and I can present that as we're gonna reserve X percentage for sponsorships. And we don't have to mark out Pride Fest and Juneteenth, rather I can say we're gonna spend X amount on sponsorships, or percentage, and then, at the discretion of the commission. I think one thing to think about though is you put it out, being mindful, and this is something maybe we need to write and create and craft, is what happens if 10 groups come in that first month and then we don't have anything left, and then you're like, oh darn, I wish we would have. And I mean, yeah, those can think, but just thinking how, and it's not, it really is up to you all. So I think I'm happy to help start that conversation at our next meeting. And what I have to present to the mayor doesn't have to be this percent, but I need to tell them we have $16,000 in civic promotions and be able to say roughly, we're going to use this much on programming ourselves, and then this is how much we're
And then I think that's what we can do as a criteria, again, for the biggest effect, for the, okay, so you spent $684 on the banner. Look at the effect of that.
Yes.
For a whole month, it's a powerful impact
Yeah.
for a little bit of money,
Yeah.
right? So I think we need to have that criteria, that says this is what we're
Or we
looking for.
can go,
We can rank them like a rubric, what's the impact? You got hundreds of kids coming.
First on my career.
That's a huge impact. Those are hundreds of kids.
So if that's
Rubrics are middlemen.
what we decide.
Got a rubric for
Does it
everything.
make sense then that there's a period when people make those requests, so we can evaluate? Otherwise, we evaluate the first ones and say, well, this sounds really good. And
Yeah,
have
have a
it
next time.
on the next month.
that way first come, first serve.
Well, not that, first a window, and then all of those, and
Exactly.
then we can have criteria to look at them, and say, oh, look at this one, this could be a huge impact. And it's only this much money, whereas this one's a lot of money, and it's not gonna be big impact. It's only
First 3
impact.
months, like I apply Nester, for example, first 3 months.
Yeah.
Divided every year in 3 quarters, yeah.
And no matter how many times you promote that and ask for applications, and that time period is gone, there will be others that come up that I never saw that posted, I
Right.
never heard about it.
It's
And
always-
that will just have to be
That's
this
like
next
that.
year,
Again, it's
keep
a-
it in
or in the
mind to
reserve
look
amount.
for it, because it'll be available, but you have to,
That's true, like, if grant cycles and sort of next
Yes.
year, across the hall.
Those unforeseen,
Exactly.
which is kind of how we have it right now, we know the ones that we know, and then we have this reserve amount. This
What is plan B?
Hmm?
What is plan B?
Yeah, always plenty.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I'm ready to get my checkbook personally out and pay this.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, come on, let's step up with all this stuff. Right.
I think, I know this, Ashley's agenda item, like action items for next time, like what do you want from me, what do you all wanna bring to that conversation, or is this something we need to like, we need to have a whole separate meeting to discuss and build out,
Well, we already have our plan, we're pretty close to it.
I mean, maybe not, but this end of the table is.
Well, I want to be decision on what we're doing right now, with the money, but the overall, how are we gonna do this, that's part of our big, our next strategic plan, if we're gonna do a strategic plan, then maybe
I haven't really considered, yeah, we need to come back to that,
That
so,
could be what
Separate
we,
planning meeting.
yeah.
yeah, perhaps the fall time.
Right.
Yeah, we're talking about strategic planning.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these people were not involved in that.
Yes,
So
and
that
the
makes sense.
expired this year.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so maybe, okay, we have our plan for this year, and then we do the strategic plan, say, what did we learn, and what we learned, we need to do it differently.
Right.
Yeah, we did have it set as like a
And-
2026 would be when it concludes,
Right.
and, we probably have not accomplished that, I think we set out a lot of big goals,
We did.
and so we've learned a lot though. But yes, let's, next time, discuss, like, I'll talk about the budget, with the budget on the agenda. And we can kind of maybe give through some rough percentages of what we would want to allocate, just so I can have that big a conversation with the mayor. And, then I will also add to the agenda the strategic plan.
Can you draft some criteria that aligns with our goals, related the allocation of the percentages, and then we will let you know whether that sounds like
Yeah.
what we are looking for.
I think, I can do something pretty rough for us for that conversation, but then at the strategic planning retreat, which will be like a separate meeting from this, we can really dive in and we can have a conversation, about, and I'm wondering if there's someone in the community that can talk us through that, like, if they're like, how does the community foundation give out funds and say, we should, I don't know, I'm just like thinking through, is there somebody who can help us have that option?
Do you have any like experts in city council that can lead us and give us, guide us on that sense that we can learn about it, being an expert here, so we can discuss that.
I don't think so.
So I'm in there with the community maybe.
Yeah, I'm wondering if somebody at the community center, I know.
Sure, there is
Or
one
the-
that
or
is
the-
an expert.
Maybe they
Yeah.
might have-
Definitely.
Yes.
Or the other, so I know that the Central Indiana Community Foundation, I could see if they have resources, which is the one based in Indianapolis. They help like groups that have money that want to build like a fund. They help them have those conversations, so I could ask it, I mean, I'm not gonna ask them to, but if they had like a resource guide.
I think your best bet would be to talk to Beth Evelyn and see what her suggestions are, because she certainly is involved.
Exactly, find someone, I
Yeah.
know, she's that can guide us how we
But I
play
think
this.
you all do.
Kelly Miller is left.
Oh, she did?
She is retired, and, so we missed her, but, Kelly would probably, maybe, she might,
Yeah, I did, that's why I wanted to meet them.
yeah, she might come back and address.
But that's still working as of last week. 'cause I just
Yeah.
talked to her. I don't know what her date is.
But definitely people in the community.
It's really imminent.
Gonna move to the committee reports, because there are quite a few here.
Really good.
Let's listen to our friend, ChatGPT.
Oh.
Here are the factors most commonly considered for any kind of community, human relations, human rights, alignment with the commission's mission, right? Reduce discrimination, providing, promoting diversity, supporting underserved, blah, 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 blah. Demonstrated community need, right? Commissions often ask what problems being addressed, is there data showing the need, who is underserved, what barriers exist, strong applications for local statistics, right? And then measurable outcomes. So it's not unlike community foundation,
Yeah.
right, or any other granting organization, right, basically looking at. And then this one has, collaboration and community partnerships.
Yeah.
And then equity and inclusion practices, right? So it is, I think we're on the right track.
Yeah.
It's aligned to our mission, we come up with, try to, maybe Kelly will go back and say, how should we set this up? So that we have this criteria.
Yeah, because I do think we have to have the specifics, so it's, as much as possible, because every application is gonna be so very different.
Yeah.
And it's what briefly addressed.
And as most commissions across the country currently prioritize mental health access, substance use recovery support, housing and security, violence prevention, youth engagement, reentry support, equity focused healthcare access, peer support, and community-based prevention. That's pretty specific.
I feel like that,
You
too.
copy and paste that and send it to us.
That's crazy. The committee reports, the Black History Month banner committee, even though, we're not, they're not meeting, the group that Dr. Mary has in her summer class, she told me that there are going to be 2 students assigned to this project, which is a little bit different than what she had previously told me, it would be like a whole class would be working on this. So it kind of does, maybe it require us to refine, and maybe, if only 2 students are working on this, I don't know if they can get to all, 5 of these, bullet points that I had shared with you previously. I don't wanna take up too much time right now, but we are gonna, I'm going to the class on Tuesday, June 2nd at 10:30 a.m. If you all, if anyone would like to join that, you are welcome, to come and talk to the students, about what we want out of this. I don't have a room yet, I don't know if she's not gotten it, but she said she would send it to me when she did. And, yeah, the things that I still really want them to do is talk to people for us, do interviews of the committee, of other community stakeholders, kind of give us a synthesis of what people are thinking, but then also help us build out a formalized structure, kind of like what we want to do with this funding structure, just something formal that's like, this is who's on the committee and how many are selected every year and what happens to the members. If you're not representing for all of them, but anyway.
I'll be able to go through,
Okay.
add some insight of,
Yeah.
them
Yes.
in doing the things. They probably have a smaller cohort, which is why they're.
Yeah, I think so. I think she told me it's like a class of 8.
Yeah, that's probably.
No, well, the first time we worked with the summer class.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah, I was like, there were so many. I think we had 5 groups of 3, but yeah. Okay, old business, the grant, the neighborhood investment fund. I'd like to share some things. First off, we talked about opening it last week, but it's gonna open officially tomorrow. And it will actually be open for a lot longer than we talked about. We're gonna keep it open through all of June and into July, giving folks a lot more time. I think going through this process, I'm like, wow, this is a hard thing for me to create, and we want to give folks as much time as possible. The review committee is tentative right now. Brandon has appointed Josh Elmore, who is one of the ombuds person, is that correct, at ISU? And he's asked Judge Chris Wheaton if he would be one of the reviewers. He was on our panel and he's like, I want to help with the commission. And Brandon had remembered that, so he's like, I'm gonna ask him. Tammy and Curtis from the council and Ms. Lillian 100% from the commission. And Katie and Keisha both indicated interest. But we probably need to decide that next week. There will be also workshops for help with the application, and so those are scheduled for kind of toward the end of the application period, giving folks a chance to kind of really kind of think through, gather, maybe coordinate with their groups first before they jump into an application workshop. So right now I've got 4 that are tentative. I have reached out to the library to be the location for this, partly because I wanted technology. I'm going to encourage people to bring their own laptops and computers or tablets to these workshops, but the library is graciously, I just heard back from them, 5 laptops will be available and during the workshop, which I think will be great. I've also talked with Delta, Sigma Theta, Deltas, they are.
Just learned this,
They express interest, and so Mary and I have been talking, so, you know. But I formally sent her all the details of these coordinates, and what I'm looking for, and from them, and then maybe from you all, is to have some volunteers there. You're also all welcome to apply for this grant funding. I mean, if you're a reviewer, maybe.
No,
you don't
yeah.
know, but,
I'm big on conflict of interest.
yeah, okay. So of course you can be participants in this workshop, but also when we get into that, so it'll be 30 minutes of like a presentation. Here's what the application involves and the types of projects you can do. But then at the end, we want to give folks time to start, plugging things in, and that's what those laptops will be for folks to get started on those. Anyway, at that, I'd like to have a few people besides myself to be able to go around and be like, yeah, that's looking good. You don't have to be an expert. I'm not asking anybody to approve or say like, yes, that will get you the grant, but that's probably, you're on the right track with that. But that's All of those dates are available at the library, so one is a Saturday during the day, two are in the evening, and then one I have during the day on a weekday. I don't know if we'll get many people, but something to try.
So I think if you find that that people are able to bring a laptop and you need more than the library has, then you can probably get his hands on lots of laptops that you can use.
Well, that would be great, yeah. If you could maybe, follow up on that, that would be great. So when you go to if you go to the Human Relations Commission page, at the top is the Neighborhood Investment Fund, and when you click on that, it takes you to this page. And right now, it says application opening soon, so if you do click that, it takes you to, it says that this fund is currently unavailable, but tomorrow it will be. The grant guidelines, is quite a long document that apparently is not linked there yet. I will get that ready, maybe it's down here. Oh no, okay, AT needs to do some, checking for, links, it looks like. But the grant guidelines are a, document that open over here. It's quite extensive, developed with our legal department to make sure that folks understand kind of it's our legal it's our safety and security as a city. But it explains, what is the project, the different documents that will be required, the purpose. It explains what is eligible. It explains what is ineligible, and you need to write that down and explain that because on the form, which this is the draft one because it's not available yet. The first question is that I certified that I have read and I agree to the guidelines. And I'll have it linked here as well, but right, I did make some changes from our last discussion just to kind of make it refined a little bit. So it requires there to be a project, like where is this at, a specific address, a project need, and their information. So if you select your registered neighborhood group, it takes you to this neighborhood association information, and if you select informal neighbor group, it will take you to a different one. So this one requires that there is more documents about what their formal neighborhood group looks like, just for our information, because if they are a 501c3, we would be able to distribute funds directly to them. But if they're an informal neighborhood group, they will instead download this resident neighborhood support form, which opens up here, and it requires them to fill this out with 5, they have to have a minimum of 5 neighbors that live within a 1 mile radius of the project location, but there's room for up to 19 signatures, so the grant reviewers can be like, oh wow, this has a lot of interest, but of course the requirement is only that they have 5, and that's to help encourage kitchen tablers to apply for this funding rather than just those formalized groups. But we need there to be some indication that somebody, besides one guy, I want to live here, okay, you're gonna have to get 4 of your neighbors to also agree to that. So kind of also a little bit of an activity, you gotta get out there, you gotta talk to your neighbors, you gotta get some signatures, encourage us, anyway. They have to select, and so, okay, then it moves into these sections that have A, B, C, D, and the reason I have that is because this is the actual score section. The other parts that if they tick off all of those things, they are eligible to be scored. But if they don't submit that form, you're not gonna be eligible to be scored. And so I've just divided it this way so we can, for the sake of the reviewers. But they just need to answer some questions about like what challenges does it address? Can you describe it? Can you describe the timeline? And then you also will need to fill out this scope of work worksheet, which we've provided a template. It opens up. That's not the right one. Here, and it explains like kind of, oh, I must have cut off one of the pages. But it asks for them to share a little bit about the project. What are the big tasks that need to be done? Who's going to be doing the work? Where are your vendors coming from? Maintenance, and then a signature.
Right.
Community engagement, how are residents involved in selecting this project, and this is all just narrative based. And then these questions align to the rubric, the scoring sheet that I've created, which is pretty extensive, but it allows for ease of scoring for our, where they will be like, this is so section A, and like each mid subsection of that, they have a exemplary, strong, somewhat limited, and it has a description for each. And then the scorer, I'll have prepped this with all of the information. Each project is assigned a number, and then all of the information is put in, and then they will input their scores here on the side, and then it totals it back for me. So, cool stuff, but this one doesn't require a like a worksheet that is uploaded. They will need to upload like, oh, we like had a meeting, or like here's yeah, like a letter of support from somebody. So how will you measure success? How are you going to communicate about this project? You know, do you have any partnerships, volunteers, donations, and then the budget, which also there's a budget worksheet, which is a download. It's an Excel sheet. You can't, fill that in online. Obviously, I've been testing it. This is the first time I downloaded it. Anyway, that's it. You submit. I am really hopeful that we get these applications. We're going to be doing lots of social media marketing. We'll do some letters again, send some to some churches, to some community groups, different neighborhood associations. But I feel like having a little bit of a longer timeline is going to help us.
Are the meetings there on the website? Are they like the dates?
The dates, yeah, they are on here. Except, well, their application opens and closes July 17th, but it explains a little bit about it, what types of projects are eligible. Oh, I forgot to mention this one. There's a project catalog. I know, don't. So, a catalog. So if you, but like, I don't know, I want to do something. Like, our neighborhood could certainly benefit from something. There's different ideas that relate to each thing and a rough cost, and then notes. So like, the one thing that somebody was talking to me about was like, we really need like a flashing crosswalk sign. Like, it's super dangerous. And like, if there's no light, like maybe we don't even need to install light, like at least like something that tells people cross the road there. And I was like, oh, how expensive is that? Now, they can be, where are they? yeah, this one, the rectangular rapid flashing RRF. They're like potentially up to $20,000, which I was pretty disappointed, but I'm like, I feel like I'm like up to. Like if you get the real, you know, the one with the solar panel and all of it, or maybe the one that you have to drill into the ground and install the wires. I don't know, but it gives people an idea of like, okay, this is feasible, this is not. And I so I may exceed, may need other funding sources. Anyway. That one, I know, I'm like, how did I miss that? Who can apply? I need to, this part needs updating. I need to, the informal groups, I need to explain the 5 and the 1 mile radius. I just haven't, updated that. Key dates, applicant workshops coming soon. How is it being reviewed? How to apply. Required documents, those are here as well, so they are in the application itself, but you know, of course, I haven't gotten that part of the application yet, but you can still view the documents. The application does require you to fill parts out, and you can save the application and email it to you, and so you don't have to finish it in one sitting. This has been my. Because it's
It's a lot of work.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I dropped one tutorial.
So that's where, if you are gonna, would be willing to help me with it. So it is, there's just no way to give out money to things that don't have information behind them. So I recognize this is somewhat burdensome, I am aware of that. But I plan to have a Zoom call with anybody who wants to be a volunteer at one of these workshops, so you all don't feel overwhelmed before you get in there. And I know it's gonna be tough, but I think we also let people know, it's okay for it to still be.
Be at any level and complete this.
I don't need any action items from you all, but I do want to share all that. So I apologize.
It's impressive.
Good job. Good job.
Every so often I start talking, I'm like, oh gosh, it'll be fine. You need to cut out. Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah.
The 27th, I was just gonna, remind you, the 27th is the bash, the birthday bash on the Wabash, the birthday bash,
Running back or what?
yeah, whatever it's called,
Happy?
that's on the 27th.
Yeah.
So I only know that because I'm working it, so.
That one might change. It's a tentative.
Yeah. I can help you with a couple other days, but I can't help that day.
That's okay.
How you doing on the workshops? It's like very good.
So the workshop's there, the 27th is the birthday bash.
I mean, just kidding. I was like, oh, you did it. Because I'm not here the 20th. And then the next one is July 4th. Next Saturday. Anyway,
Celebration.
we need to.
Lots of different community groups and things.
We should probably move to the Juneteenth and make it just while we still have
Yeah.
some of our voting members here. I feel like I shared most everything that you all, you have options, you can sponsor one thing, you can sponsor the other thing, you can sponsor both things. You don't have to stick to that 3,000, we have only spent $2,000 so far out of our budget. And we would like to still do other things, but you have a lot of funds to consider.
I think that since we already have on the table, we should proceed, make sure that they get some, but next time have some kind of guide, some kind of criteria
Yeah.
with percentages that we can, you know,
Absolutely.
that's my opinion.
I,
So, you know, everyone has to, but that's my opinion.
To give some.
Second proposal, please.
Okay, well, what's your-
Oh,
I
what did you
would,
say?
I would like to make a motion and give 2,000 to Representative who's here tonight, and then $2,000, and it would go to, the Legion, you know, their coffers, but then it would go to them. And then $1,000 to, the Black Empowered. That's my motion. Is there a second?
I would say divided half and half.
Well, then you have to vote down my motion.
there's no second, I think the motion dies.
Second.
Do you
What
want
do
to
everybody else thinks? What do you think? Okay, so you think 50-50, what else? What do you guys think?
I'm on 50-50.
50-50?
But
I really think 1,500, 1,500?
It's fine with me.
That's a bold
They
one.
want to know if I am opposed to that.
You want a motion, I have a motion, you want to make the motion?
I make it
Two, four.
to oppose that. And
The motion for your 50-50.
1,500 to
1,500 for each.
1,500 to.
Second that motion.
I think oh, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Motion passes.
So you're gonna call Belinda?
Yes, I will just need to.
Oh my God, yes, she's gonna do
Yeah, and but, okay, we've already voted, but he said we wanted to be specifically for food. That it doesn't matter, I mean, it doesn't matter.
We're giving it to the Legion.
Say that,
Giving it to the Legion.
Exactly.
Yeah, the bicycles she's got in there, pay.
And I think they should use it, I mean,
Just give it to the Legion.
at
and
their
she'll figure it out.
discretion,
yes.
they'll know what it's needed for.
Yes, they know.
If something, you know, if we say we want
That way you
food
don't have
and
to
someone donates food, then they have to come back to us.
No, okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I think this will, once you make the call to her, then their Friday meeting could be
Right.
organized a little
Yeah.
bit to figure out what,
Yeah.
where else they can.
So you're giving it to and support all the activities are going on.
Yeah.
Yes.
This will help everybody moving forward.
You all are welcome to head out. I have two more things, I'm just gonna briefly preview both. The first one was, the Parks Department wanted us to think about doing a summer program, like come present to their summer camp. Do like an activity, they had said to us something about inclusion, kindness, or related topics. And then the other thing was to get out the vote, which both don't. We could probably hold off on the discussion of the get out the vote until our next meeting. But
I would love to do this.
I know, that, I was like, I have a commissioner who's always saying that she wants to do stuff with children, and I was like, maybe Sandy, I did say, if so determined, if anyone feels passionate about taking the lead, and maybe this is something we could kind of take the lead on.
I'm not gonna jump in that, but yeah, we're gonna. Although I know that the week one,
I think that honestly, that community week is probably the one that feels most aligned.
that's the day of my granddaughter's appointment, so I think I need to be there.
The August one,
No, June 6th. So, but the rest of it,
Okay. But we can, if we're thinking maybe the end of the summer, then we can table this conversation until next time, but I just need to let them know, like,
So week 10 is August 3rd and 7th, community week, so that's the one we will be at.
probably.
Yeah.
Unless we feel like we wanna do wacky water week.
Or butterfly.
maybe
We're all gonna know we're all guys. But we can wait until I'll just let them know we're gonna talk about it at our next meeting. I have
Yeah.
some,
Yes.
well, your name tag is in
Oh,
my
okay.
office, so,
Okay.
do we wanna adjourn? And,
Yes.
Oh, do you wanna, yes, do you wanna adjourn? Jackie's like, I can
You
see
want
that
it.
without my glasses.
Make a motion.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying? Okay, I make a motion that we adjourn our meeting.
Okay.
all of the,
All in favor?
It was a good meeting.